Hey there, you're watching Go on Shaw TV, coming to you today from Port Alberni's newest wharf, Tai Landing. Well, hello there, you are watching Go on Shaw TV, and we are indeed standing at the entrance to Port Alberni's newest wharf facility, Tai Landing, and I'm here with Dave McCormick from the Port Authority. Dave, this is an amazing facility. How did this come about?
This has been a wonderful work in progress over the last 5-6 years of vision with the Port Authority to redevelop Fisherman's Harbor, and it's been through a great partnership with Island Coastal Economic Trust, the City of Port Alberni, and of course the Port Authority itself, with its legacy from industry over the past years, to reinvest and reinvigorate our dynamic working mixed-use waterfront.
And actually, it's interesting you talk about the legacy of our industrial past, our industrial present as well, because the industrial present is right next door. There was talk at one point of covering it up, but you're not going to cover it up.
No, not at all. The activity at the Somas Mills is just as interesting and exciting, and a great reminder of our mixed-use waterfront. The reason why we've got Tai Landing here is in the boardwalk, to provide the residents an opportunity to see all the activity in our commercial fishing harbor and everything else around us that makes Port Alberni unique.
And it's interesting. I think here in Port Alberni, we forget how cool it is just to be down here at the waterfront. We are, of course, in the very few meters of this landing. There's a lot more to see down here, isn't there?
Let's go see it.
We're going to do just that, but before that, we're going to head out to Williamson Park with Jenny Fortin for a barbecue.
To the average person, this looks like a typical everyday barbecue party. There's hot dogs, face painting, and lots of fun in the sun.
We have 45 or 46 groups just donating for door prizes and draws and giveaways of all kinds. We have many, I lost count of how many vendors we have, but it's a good party. Everybody's having a good time.
But here's the thing, in a world that's constantly changing, this really does look like a typical barbecue party. And in this case, that's something to celebrate.
Regardless of who we are, community is built on diversity, and we're all different. It doesn't matter if we're LGBTQ plus or what we are, or how we identify, but just being a community together is just being supportive of one another and helping each other. And when someone falls down, checking out to see how they are. That's what a community is.
Over the years, Port Alberni has seen a slow and strenuous evolution towards acceptance. It's now a place that celebrates diversity, celebrates community, and it's a place that believes in just being yourself.
Today is about building a community and being able to express who you are truly and to come together and just have a party and smile.
I see a bunch of happy people celebrating, families getting together, allies coming to join us in our celebration of who we are as LGBTQ people.
This is completely a city with a heart. It's all about human rights, all about equality, it's all about acceptance and celebrating diversity, and those are the things that are important to all of us.
As you can see, the Pride Barbecue was a huge success. And in the world that we live in today, a celebration like this can only lead to more positivity.
We are coming out and saying we're not afraid, let's change the world. That's what we're celebrating.
Which goes to show you that you should never underestimate the power of an average barbecue party. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
A bell that rings, a helmet that fits, and a good understanding of the rules of the road. Joshua Alberni has it all. But when he rides his bike with his family, he seldom rides on busy city streets.
We like to ride it close to home because I feel safer.
Safety. No small consideration when you're riding a bicycle. But thanks to a $50,000 grant that the city has matched, there's something new rolling out on Port Alberni streets.
Bike lanes. Yeah, they're brand new bike lanes being installed in the city, so we'll see them all over, hopefully in time, but they're starting out here on Roger Street and on 10th and a few other places.
I think it's huge. The ability of cyclists to have, even if it's just paint on the roads, is huge in terms of saying, look, hey, cyclists, you belong here. And I think it totally changes the dynamic and the streetscape in making other modes of transportation more welcome.
And the bike lanes do that by dividing up the road space with the intention of making it clearer for all concerned.
It may not directly change cycle behavior, but I think that it will go a long way in terms of education. Educating cyclists and motorists both in terms of how to share the roadway in a way that increases predictability for everyone, so that the motorists know where the bikes are going to be and the bikes know where the cars are going to be.
Increased safety and predictability for both cyclists and motorists has been the goal from the very beginning, when the bike lane project first began to take shape.
In 2014, there was the active transportation plan put together, and there was a lot of public consultation around that. It's a great report. If people check it out on the website, the city website, they'll be able to see a whole network of bike lanes and bike treatments that are planned for the whole city.
A long-term plan for sure, but in the short term, motorists are getting used to the newly painted lanes. And one question keeps coming up. Can you drive your car in the bike lane?
Absolutely no cars in the bike lanes. At intersections, you'll notice the cycle lane stops, because that's an indication that the cars will be turning. So it's an indication for cyclists, look, beware, the cars are coming over to where you may be, and an indication for the motorists also to be like, look, hey, there's cyclists, so beware. This is a really good, really great step in terms of helping make cycling more readily available and easier for people in Port Alberni.
Look, beware, and stay safe. Good advice for everyone. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Nancy Wilmot. You know, the bike lanes are generating an awful lot of conversation, and that's a good thing. It's always good for a community to get involved, to care about what's happening on the city streets. Now, we are still here at Tyee Landing in one of my favorite spots, Dave, overlooking Fisherman's Wharf. This has to be a totally new view of the city.
It absolutely is one. With Tyee Landing and our partnerships, we've managed to open up the waterfront even further for our community to see the activity and the commercial activity, especially the hub that we have here at Fisherman's Harbor for people just to sit back and watch. It can be quite exciting to watch the flurry of activity.
It is so exciting, so beautiful, kind of a nice counterpoint to Centennial Pier, which was established just a few years ago.
That's right. Centennial Pier was installed back in July of 2012. So here we are, fast forwarding 4 years later. Now we get a different angle of Fisherman's Harbor.
And you know, I can't tell you how many evenings we come out. My husband and I have a boat out here, nice little sailboat just down. We keep our boat here, and invariably there are folks out walking up here, enjoying a stroll, stopping, having their lunch or a cup of coffee on a bench, walking their dog. It's just a great place to meet up with people.
It really has been thoroughly embraced by the community, just as Centennial Pier was when that first opened up, and it's still a really popular walking and meeting place. And now to connect Fisherman's Harbor with Harbor Key, with the boardwalk here at Tyee Landing, just helps to draw the waterfront that much closer together for the community. And you're right, it's one of my favorite spots to come down and walk the dogs with my wife as well.
And you know, I can't help but think that this is just firmly establishing that relationship between the Port Authority and the city and everybody else that helped pay for this so firmly in the public's mind. This really is a very dynamic relationship.
Absolutely, and we're really proud that relationship has evolved with the city, with the First Nations in the community, and the community and the public at large. People have a real proud stake in their waterfront and all the activities and what makes Port Alberni so exciting, dynamic, and unique, and something that keeps that's drawn all of us to live in Port Alberni and is attracting more residents to this area to live, raise families, and invest.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to tell you a little bit more. We still haven't even gotten to the end, and I think one of the most exciting parts, but I'm not telling you about it yet. Before we do that, we are going to head out on Art Avenue with Melissa Martin and meet the artist behind the newest exhibit at the Rollin Art Center.
If you ever get the chance to meet Julian, you might notice he's a little reserved.
Well, I guess I'm a bit of an introvert in some ways, but I don't like being the center of attention, for sure.
But there's nothing wrong with being an introvert. It just means that Julian expresses himself in a different way.
Since I was a kid, I've just been drawing, and that's what I remember doing since I was really small. And it was never anything based on anything in real life. It was always stuff coming from my mind.
And after attending Emily Carr Art School, Julian's technique has vastly improved since childhood. However, his inspiration still comes from a place of imagination.
This is mostly from dreams and sort of lucid dreams. Yeah, I don't really fabricate any of the ideas consciously. In the dreams, there's always this sort of slight bleakness to it. There's this sort of, the images are still three-dimensional and there's movement and stuff, but it's almost like looking at something underwater. It doesn't look as clear as it is in real life.
Julian's latest collection, called Post Invisible, can be explored at the Rollin Art Center.
It really takes your imagination to a place that's normally left unexplored. And it takes you beyond the borders of what traditional art is thought of. It's very symbolic, I believe, in its nature. And it just, it pulls you in out of reality for a little while, and it takes you on a journey, really.
Julian describes his artwork as classic surrealism, but the Rollin Art Center describes it as a unique piece of the puzzle in an ever-changing showroom.
Every show is always different, and it's really amazing to see just the different diversity that we have in Port Alberni and as well in Vancouver Island. And it's really cool to be able to support our community and support our local artists, and to be able to give them a chance to have a place to share their work with other people. And that's just that's the beauty part about being an artist, to share your passion, and we provide a home for that. So it's really awesome.
You can find more information about Julian's exhibit or the Rollin Art Center on their Facebook page. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
Welcome back to another edition of Art Avenue, bringing you arts and entertainment right here in the Alberni Valley. So we'll get right into it because there's lots of things happening in the Alberni Valley. The Rollin Art Center, and our current exhibit is with Julian Grocott, and he does acrylic paintings, and that exhibit is on until August 26th. And our next summer teas on the terrace, well, no, we only have 2 left. The next one is August 11th. Tickets still are available. He is Glenn Mulford and does a little bit of easy listening, acoustic guitar. And on August 25th is Paul Caroux and the Travelers. Now, he is always one that sells out, so if you're interested in seeing him on the 25th of August, stop by for your tickets today at the Rollin Art Center. And here's what's happening at Shaw's Landing on Thursday, August 11th is Oliver Swain, and he's a bit of roots, banjo, and string bass. On Thursday, August 18th is Old Towns, and they are acoustic folk. And Saturday, August 20th is the David Sinclair and Keith Bennett duo. So if you're interested in any of those concerts, stop by Shaw's Landing for your advance tickets today. Well, here are another few reminders that are happening at the Rollin Art Center of events. Our children's summer camp is still taking place, so if you're in the ages of 7 to to 12 years old and you're interested in coming down and being a little bit creative at the Roland Arts Center, camps are still available. We have fairy tales, picture books, as well as school supplies. So those are the next 3 weeks of camps. And our summer teens and youth writing programs take place every Monday, so there's still room for that if you're interested in that, 13 years and up. And our call to artists. Now, I've sort of touched upon this in past segments, talking about a coloring book that we're putting out. So if you're interested in that, registrations are available at the Roland Arts Center. Our deadline for that to submit your 8.5 by 11 line drawing is on September 13th. So for more information, contact me at the Roland Arts Center. Well, that's it for another edition of Art Avenue, but I do have one special event that I wanted to mention coming in September on Sunday, September 18th at the Roland Arts Center. We're going to be having music in the garden. It's going to be entrance by donation, and I think the minimum donation is $5. We're going to have about 12 different musicians taking part. Sunday afternoon, we're going to be selling, or not selling, but we're going to be having smokies and a chili cook-off, I believe. So for more information, contact me at the Roland Arts Center, but I'll be bringing you more information about that in next shows. So until next time, I'm Melissa Martin for Art Avenue.
Thank you, Melissa. You do such a great job of keeping us up to date on everything that's going on in the Alberni Valley. Now, we're going to take a very short break, but we'll be right back, so please stay with us. Well, welcome back. You are still watching Go on Shaw TV. We are still here at Tyee Landing. We're getting to the lower part of the wharfage here, and Dave McCormick, there's a kind of an interesting blue building behind us. What will that be?
Absolutely. It's going to be the service center for the commercial fuel dock that should be opening hopefully very, very soon.
Commercial fuel dock. You heard that finally. I know so many fishermen have been waiting for this. Is this like the #1 request that you have from sports fishermen and commercial fishermen?
Certainly, to be able to provide fuel on the water in a central location, much more efficient, less congested area, has been a priority for the Port Authority, and as well as certainly is in response to the growing recreational and commercial fleets that we do have here in the Alberni Inlet and Port Alberni Harbor.
Well, I know it will definitely fill a need, and there's also a fair bit of moorage behind us here. What will that be used for?
We'll have some moorage available on temporary terms for the offload of commercial fishing vessels and other vessels that may visit us who we can't find a space in a short-term nature. And as well, over time, we're looking at Pacific Seaplanes moving their scheduled service over to Tyee Pier as well in the future.
This place is going to be hopping. It's going to be a beehive of activity over here.
Absolutely. We're really looking forward to it. There's a lot of work, a lot of people, a lot of contractors, a lot of funding partners that have come together to make all this happen. So we're really looking forward to seeing it continuing to evolve and grow and attracting more businesses up on Tyee Landing itself as we look to achieve the mini Steveston, made in Port Alberni Steveston village that we envisioned.
I like your vision, the mini Steveston, made in Port Alberni, Tyee Landing, economic generator for the waterfront.
Absolutely, it's a mouthful, and eventually we want people to have a vision of their waterfront that says, we want a made in our town version of what Port Alberni has at Tyee Landing. That's our goal, and we're excited for the community to help us achieve that.
Holy smoly, it is a mouthful. Dave McCormick, thank you for all the work you've done on this and the Port Authority. It's a good project.
Thank you so much for Shaw's support and the community's support.
Man, it doesn't happen without the community. Isn't that the truth? Now, we're getting close to the end of our show, but before we say goodbye, we're going to head out over a bumpy road to Nitnat, where the kiteboarder is king and Alicia LaRue is right at home.
As soon as I felt that kite pulling on my hook, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna do this. Yeah, once you get a taste for that power and the wind, there's no going back. It's a life changer, you know, it really is. It's a life changer. When you start kiteboarding, it changes your lifestyle.
And Pat's right, kiteboarding is a life changer. Wind junkies travel from great distances to get their necks fixed. We're lucky here in the Alberni Valley. Besides our afternoon thermals, just over an hour away is a mecca for kiteboarding.
This is Nitnat Lake. It's a 20-kilometer long lake. It opens up to the ocean. It's a mixture of salt water, fresh water. It's one of the top places to kiteboard or windsurf in the world. People come from all over.
I'm from Vancouver. I'm from Maple Ridge. My sister's from Langley. So we made a bit of a trek.
Oh, I've met people from Africa and a lot of UK, there's Germans, and just people from all over the world.
It's not the most ideal trek to get to Ninette Lake, but the area has a whole lot to offer.
The wind is the biggest one. We have some of the steadiest wind anywhere in the world in season here, actually. We're pretty lucky with that. We've got very warm water down here at the lake. We've got a gorgeous spot. We've got a great campsite, very family friendly, and it's just a great spot to be around in general.
It's really chill. Everyone here is just down to kite and then hang out and then kite and then hang out. No one's in any rush really to do anything. You come out, you check the water. It's not windy yet. You go hang out some more. It's very relaxed.
People are generous and loving, caring, they're green, they look after the camp, and they just look after the water. They're just great people all around.
I can't say enough great things about this. You know, just last week I was out teaching a lesson and I had a humpback whale pop up right beside me. So we get some pretty cool stuff happening around here.
There is cool things happening here. Now, is kiteboarding only for those who've had previous wind and water experience?
Yeah, it's for everybody. You know, that's the great thing about it. You can go from age 8 all the way to mid-60s, 70s, I guess.
Rich people, tech people, oil people, their kiteboarding is now it's the new golf. So we're getting a lot of that. It's really exploding on those end of things, but internationally a fair bit of that also.
If you look on the beach, it's a complete mix of old, young, you know, people from all over the world. Everyone's coming here for the exact same thing. We want to smile, we want to have fun, we just want to enjoy our life.
When everybody goes out in the water, everybody's on the same page. It doesn't matter how big you are, how much money you make, anything that's going on. Everybody's out there and everybody's kiteboarding. So that's a really nice thing that brings everybody together.
Bringing people together is what Ninette Lake does. Kiteboarding, well, keeps you coming back for more.
And now instead of a long weekend away, I'm spending a long weekend planning to come here. So it's easy to become obsessed with the sport.
Wind, sun, kiteboarding.
If you can kiteboard, you're going to be happy. Yeah.
Make sure not to miss the great wind here and the great kiteboarders at Ninette Lake. I'm Alicia LaRue reporting for Shaw TV.
Well, hello again. Today we're going to learn more about the letter I. We have the short I and the long I. So the first one is the short I, and it says it, just like the I in the English alphabet. And the first word for that is ink, and that means a fire. Inquas is a lamp. Inquas. The next set of letters are the long I's. And when we say long I's, we just lengthen the sound of the I's. Instead of it, we say e. So the word, one of the words for that is e, meaning big. Another word for that is eachtup, for a whale. We'll see you all next time. Chooch.
Well, that does bring us to the end of this edition of Go, our Tyee Landing edition of Go. And of course, this is the Tyee of Tyee Landing, a lovely cedar carving by Jesse Toso. You might recognize the carver because he also did some work up at the Rollin Arts Centre along with some other chainsaw carvers. And in fact, the wood for all of the carvings here and at Rollin was donated, of course, by Tishot First Nation, but the carvings were sponsored by the Port Authority. Just one more way that this group of folks is supporting the community that supports them. Until we meet again, be good to each other.